2024.
Happy freaking New Year!
Oh my goodness.
It's been a while. It's been a whole year.
It's been a hot second. Yeah, we haven't done a podcast since last year. What an original joke. Nobody ever makes those jokes. It's so funny.
Yeah, well.
How were your holidays? Good?
I never claimed I was original.
No. You have good holidays?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Saw your best friend and
family, friends.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good.
Bevies, foods.
Good. Bevies.
All the good stuff.
Yeah. All the nog.
How about you?
How many liters of eggnog would you say you've consumed in the last 3 months?
Well, easily 6.
That's gross. You have to see that that's gross.
I don't know. I think it's pretty tasty.
Yeah, it's delicious, but also ew, right? Like,
I don't think that's not unreasonable, is it?
I don't know. How bad is 6 liters
over 3 months?
How bad is 6 liters of eggnog?
That's 2 liters a month
for you. Surprisingly, no one's asked that specific question before. Weird. Probably because no one's ever consumed that much eggnog before. Hello and welcome to the Movie Men podcast.
We are the B team.
Still, yeah, nothing changed. New year, same us, same old us.
I was briefly for half a second there considering calling us the number 2 team or something like that instead.
Oh,
I just in the heat of the moment, I can't think that quick.
No, hey, what a shitty name. Yeah. It's not. Yeah. Cool. So let's dive in. Let's kick things off. The first podcast episode and the first news episode of 2024, and also the first useless world technology Carl tip of the day, whatever the segment's called, of 2024.
Still workshopping it.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So it's been like 3 weeks since we recorded. And what I do is I email myself the links in a personal email chain to myself. And I had a bunch I had to sift through that were pretty good. And I tried to narrow it down as much as I could because there were a lot.
Fast food, space, and pets. That's usually
I've narrowed it down.
3 categories.
I've narrowed it down to 5. So we've got 2 extra choices more than normal. But these are all pretty juicy. And I think I don't want to push them off for another week because after another week, then it feels like, okay,
don't want to be relevant.
Really old news and doesn't really matter. Okay. So your options, sir, are AI fortune teller. Vibrating your hunger away.
Okay.
Nuclear delivery.
I'm just picturing vibrating sounds and moans coming from the bedroom, and they're like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm on a diet. Sorry, what was the third option? I was thinking about vibrators.
Nuclear delivery.
No, okay, like child delivery.
And the power of magma.
Okay.
Magma. That's a fun word. Magma.
And
then I'm just gonna call it. This one just came across today. My in an email. But the most interesting thing to me from the current best of the consumer electronics shows in 2024.
What? I don't even understand.
Do you know what the consumer electronics show is?
No.
It's a big tech show in Vegas where LG and Alienware, anybody who makes home technology,
right?
They come together and they show up. It's kind of like E3 for video games, but for home technology. So it's everything from
Bose speakers to
computers to some cars, tablets, phones.
Cool.
TVs.
What is
so
the
there's
difference
something that stood out to me in that I want to highlight.
Right. What's the difference between magma and lava?
I have no idea.
Is it only lava once it's on the ground and coming for your children?
Scientific term for magma is molten rock that is underground. Lava is molten rock that breaks through the Earth's surface.
Yeah. See. Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta go vibrators for 300, Carl.
Okay. All right. Okay. Quickly breaking down the other four. The Consumer Electronics Show. Apparently LG has got a transparent TV that they were showing off.
Yes, I've seen this.
Dope as you saw this?
I did. Yeah,
this thing looks dope as hell, but also like mind bending.
It's
weird.
Yeah, I saw an early prototype for it, like maybe 6 months ago, and I don't know. Like it's gimmicky. It's
but it's cool. Like I mean,
it's cool because it's cool.
Everything
tech.
Like VR headsets were gimmicky at one point too, but now they're like their own thing.
Yeah,
right?
But I mean,
everything starts gimmicky somewhere when it comes to consumer electronics.
Anyway, but I'm never going to sit down and watch my Lord of the Rings rewatch on the transparent
You might in
TV.
10 or 15 years. You don't know. Anyway, moving on. China is going to be building a massive nuclear-powered container ship.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that's your...
That can make the jump to light speed, because wasn't that the...
it might. So that's your nuclear delivery.
That was the secret to not time travel,
like
space travel.
We looked at that cruise ship a little while back. This thing is like that on steroids, I guess.
Right. You want to take the Chernobyl cruise? Yeah, great.
Well, I mean, nuclear-powered sea-bearing vessels isn't a new thing. But the Navy's been using nuclear-powered submarines for decades now.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the AI fortune teller, somebody, I'm not going to go into it. Researchers at University of Copenhagen created some AI model that could tell the time of your death potentially.
Yeah, and so does every other Facebook link. Answer these 4 questions. We'll tell you when you're going to die.
Well, they say it has high accuracy. Anyway, we're not getting into it because you didn't pick it. All right. Magma, what did I call it? Energy, whatever. Apparently, a couple years back, some mining operation accidentally drilled into a magma chamber, which up until that point, apparently, if the thought of drilling into magma chambers was like catastrophic, causing volcanic eruption kind of catastrophic.
Right, because you're like unleashing pressure and stuff.
Yeah, but nothing happened. So the company that accidentally did this just started pursuing the idea of replicating it with some success. And now them and some other energy corporations are looking into potentially being able to harness the power of magma to produce energy.
I don't know, man. I kind of feel like when that happens, when you drill through and it doesn't explode, the wise thing to do is look at each other and go, all right, let's chalk this up to a fluke and try not to do that ever again.
Yeah. All right. But no, you chose vibrating your hunger away.
Your hunger away. Yeah.
Okay. So
come on, baby.
You want me to send you this link so you can look at it
Sure.
yourself? All right. I'll do that. Give me a hot second.
Good vibrations.
Harvard and MIT researchers, they recently made a thing. A little small thing. About the size of a pill you might take in the morning for your vitamins.
Right.
And this thing vibrates and it makes you feel full.
And then you die.
And then you die. Yeah. They got like a little picture of it. Like it looks like it's inside some kind of gut tissue, I guess. Because I'm not on my account. I'm on a different profile.
Oh, yeah. Way to go.
A business profile. I got to switch over to, there we go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. Yeah, this is, I don't know. This is an interesting thing, I think. Because, like, in terms of weight loss, surgery type stuff, there's like stapling your stomach and liposuction and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, like, this to me seems like stapling your stomach without the surgery, because the idea of stapling your stomach is you don't eat as much to feel full. You don't have to eat as much to feel full because your stomach is smaller.
Yeah, but
so
you know what else works?
Kind of has the same effect without the same physical change to your body. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm dubious of this type of thing. And here, look, I know I'm not a 300-pound person who's desperate to lose weight because the doctor's like, oh, you're going to die. But, I've gone through binge eating times, right? You go a couple of weeks or a month or two and you're like, man, I've just been Christmas. Yeah, you're like, I've been eating like crap, and I've been eating you realize you're like, man, every time I'm done eating, I'm like, I just want to lay down on the couch because I gorge, right? Yeah. Like I just eat until I'm like not full but stuffed. And you build a little bit of a habit, right? And you're like, you get in the habit of eating that much, and then you've stretched your stomach, and so more can fit in it, and whatever. And that's happened to me many times in my life. And the answer every single time has been, well, just eat less, right? Eat less, and eat less for a couple of days. And, or even fast, right? There's been a couple of times where I'm like, okay, I'm just going to eat nothing for the next 3 days. I'm going to drink water when I'm feeling hungry, and I'm not going to eat anything for the next 3 days. And then your stomach shrinks. And then when you go to eat a proper meal again, you're like, holy crap, I can't eat all this. Yeah. Like I feel bloated and awful, and I've only taken like half of what I would normally take, right? Yeah. So
yeah, and this pill, they haven't tested it on humans, right? They've only been doing testing on pigs. This article says,
right. Well, they're supposed to be
pigs
fat.
They tested on, they ate 40% less when they had it.
But pigs are supposed to be fat, man.
Yeah, here's the big catch to the observation that one of the scientists meant, is that the pigs can't communicate if they're uncomfortable. Like, right. There's something vibrating in your gut, like triggering your guts, triggering something in your gut, telling your brain you're full, right? Like,
right. Maybe they're not even in pain.
If there's some discomfort there, the pig can't really tell you.
Yeah, like, and even if they're not in pain, it's still like, maybe it's a discomfort that, like, in a human, you'd be like, well, I can't function like this daily. Right? I don't know. Listen, and again, this is going to sound super unsympathetic.
Sorry, I just read something about in the article that I didn't read before.
This is going to sound super unsympathetic, but anytime I have ever seen something like this, it seems to me like someone who wants to lose weight, but just won't actually put the effort in, right? It seems like it's just the easy way out. Instead of willing yourself to eat less, instead of like,
there are some cases where it's just not possible.
Sure.
Like my dad is on medications that make it almost impossible for him to lose weight.
Sure. Right. But he's not going to go get his stomach stapled.
No. No.
Right. And so that's what I mean, though. Like this stomach stapling thing and this whatever. Like if your dad is gaining weight because of the pills that he's on, but he's still eating the right, normal, proper, healthy amount of food, well, he still needs to eat the right, normal, proper, healthy amount of food. Yeah. Right. And so the people who take this like, you know, oh, I'm gonna just staple my stomach so I can't eat as much, and then my body will start losing weight for me. I'm like, no, just put the work in. Just eat less. Right? Like, I'm not even saying buy a treadmill. I'm just saying, like, take one helping instead of two.
Yeah. And I do agree with that. But I do know of people who put the work in and they can't lose the weight. And they've gotten their stomach stapled, and then they've been able to keep that weight off. Yeah. But anyway, this is still like they're not even testing on humans. The thing I was giggling at to myself a little while back, apparently this pill is like the largest possible capsule a human patient could take today. So it's not small.
It doesn't look small.
One of the scientists pretty much says, I don't see people doing this. It could be taken further in development
30 mil
at some point, but right now it's not a plausible treatment. So
no,
anyway,
that's big.
I think it's just really funny that somebody's working on a pill you can swallow to help you feel less hungry, especially right after Christmas.
Drink more water.
Drink lukewarm water.
Yeah.
Lukewarm water activates some system in your body that helps you burn fat.
Yeah, your metabolism.
I learned that from Mike Tyson.
Yeah. Yeah, lukewarm water and lots of it. You'll lose weight for sure. All right, let's jump into our actual stories for today. Now, kicking things off with a score that needs to be settled, a question that needs to be answered, and it seems something
we've been in disagreement about.
Yep, and it seems like it has kind of, sort of, almost, but not entirely, because there's some weird things here.
The pendulum, which has been kind of sitting at center because nobody knew, has swung in a direction.
Nobody knew? Is that what you said? Nobody knew.
Nobody knew.
Okay, so the question that we're talking about is with Daredevil appearing now a handful of times in the MCU, right?
And his own show upcoming.
Played by, what's his first name?
Charlie
Last name's Cox. Charlie Cox. Played by Charlie Cox, right? He first showed up as Matt Murdock in Spider-Man No Way Home. Then we saw him again in the She-Hulk series, and he's got his own show coming, and we've even seen what I think is like a very brief glimpse of him in the Echo trailer.
He's supposed to be in the show. They're supposed to have a big fight scene.
So the question has been, with this being the same actor that played Daredevil, with the same actor that played Kingpin, in the Netflix Daredevil show, which was Marvel but Netflix, and not MCU proper at the time. Like there was no big connective tissue.
The MCU movies didn't recognize anything that happened in the Netflix shows, but the Netflix shows, because we were dealing with street level heroes, often made reference to the Battle of New York, which the shows take place directly after that.
Yeah, but you were never going to see Robert Downey Jr. show up in an episode as a cameo,
because we're dealing with street level, and he's like Avengers level. Yeah. So the Netflix guys said, yes, the MCU is happening in this world.
Right.
But the MCU is like, we don't care about the Kingpin because we're dealing on problems of another scale, right?
Right.
So we don't care about
some point,
thugs.
At some point, it was even called into question how canon was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right? Yeah. Like that was Agents a little wishy-washy.
Went a whole other level with it.
Yeah. So So the question was, is this the same Daredevil? Is it the same Kingpin? Well, it certainly didn't seem like the same Kingpin, right? This Kingpin was a Hawaiian shirt wearing, superpowered guy, and the Kingpin from the Daredevil show, not so much, like kind of the same, still sort of, talked the same way, had that like, my name's Kingpin, and right? But like, that's just Vincent D'Onofrio. But yeah, is this the same? Now, I have said, no, I don't think so.
And I have said,
I think you think it is. And everything that I was seeing, all signs were pointing to, well, it's not the same one. Right? It's not the same one. And every time we heard, well, this person from the show, Foggy's not going to be in the MCU, right? The guy that played Foggy is not going to, and
we know of yet.
And this person's not going to be in the MCU, and this person's not going to be in the MCU. And it was like, okay, well, so clearly it seems like you're severing ties, and you're just bringing in the same actor to play the role again in a different iteration, which is something that we've seen done before. Not in the MCU, but we've seen, hey, you know what? Come back and play that character that you played forever ago. We're going to reboot this. We're going to do it different, blah, blah, blah. But, we think it'd be fun to have you again. Now, we heard something from MCU executive producer Brad Winderbaum. And Brad said, when asked whether or not the Netflix Daredevil is a part of the MCU timeline or not, because the other thing that came out that
he
seemed
used the
to
term
kind of
sacred timeline.
So something that seemed to throw shade at the idea of this being canon was, it's not in the MCU book, right? We had that MCU timeline book come out, which was the official timeline of the MCU, and there was no mention of the Defenders, right? No Jessica Jones, no Luke Cage, no Iron Fist, no Daredevil, no Punisher.
Nothing street level, nothing TV that
wasn't Disney Plus.
Post Endgame.
Yeah. And so my stance has always been, before I read this quote, my stance has always been, you know what? I think, now that the X-Men and the Fox X-Men and the Sony Spider-Man, now that is all like, well, it's just a different universe. Just happened in a different universe, right? Yeah. But sure, it's connected, but it's a different universe. That's been my take. My take has been, it is kind of the same, like it's canon, but it's not the same Matt Murdock. It's 616's Matt Murdock, whereas what we saw before is someone else's. So Brad Winderbaum says this. He says, I can say that up until this point, we've been a little bit cagey about what's sacred timeline and what's not sacred timeline. That was born of, frankly, a period at the studio where we were like, we have to stick the landing with the vendors. It was another part of the company developing the Netflix stuff. We were aware of what they were doing, and we were aware of what we were doing, but there was a lot to balance anyway. But now that time has passed, now that we actually see how well integrated the stories are, I think that I personally, Brad Winderbaum, would be confident in saying that it's part of the sacred timeline. Now, there's a couple of things. Well, there's a couple of things to unpack here. First of all, I think that I personally would be confident in saying that's not him coming out and saying, yes, I can confirm 100% it is.
Yeah, this isn't a slam dunk, but the ball's in the air in my direction.
He says, I think it is. Right? That's basically just him weighing in. It sounds like to me, him weighing in on something that he doesn't know the answer to. Right? He's weighing in going, I think I would be confident in saying that, that this is, the other thing that is very important to remember here Very important to remember. Also, who says it sounds like he's being questioned. It sounds like he's giving a statement in court. I think that I personally, Brad Winterbaum, who says that? Who says that?
Well, he's just trying to not say something that can be taken as fact, and everybody jumps on him if it goes the other way.
But who says their own full name like that? You wouldn't go into a bar and say, "I, Carl Eastman, would like to order a Guinness." Like that's not.
It depends on if I have a tab,
or how many you've already had to drink. Here's the big thing. The big thing that I think is preventing this from being take it to the bank fact. Brad Winterbaum said this, an executive producer for Marvel. This wasn't Kevin Feige. This wasn't Kevin Feige or Bob Iger. And until either Kevin Feige or Bob Iger say, here's the truth, then it's not official.
Yeah. So I agree with that. But counterpoint to what you were saying earlier about him standing alone, making his own. He's been in meetings with the two previously mentioned people, Bob Iger and Kevin Feige, talking about this. Right? So whether it's his opinion weighing in, and the other two have a different opinion, or his opinion is part of a collective kind of conversation that they've been having. Either way, like, he's got some say here in what this looks like potentially. You can't tell me he's not been sitting in rooms with these people.
I think he's got some inside knowledge. I don't think he has any say. Right? Like if Brad Winterbaum is...
You look at his IMDb, he's been a producer on
I know.
Everything Marvel.
Right, I know, but what I'm saying is if Brad Winterbaum, Bob Iger, and Kevin Feige are sitting in a room together, and Brad's opinion is that it is part of the sacred timeline, and Kevin Feige and Bob Iger's opinion is that it's not, Brad Winterbaum can go suck an egg.
Well, all three.
Then it's not.
Well, because he's outvoted, right?
Well, but it wouldn't even matter if Bob Iger, he's still in the room. Lowest, he's still in the room, and even if pecking order.
No, hang on. Even if those two people say it's not, he's still in the room, and he can still make a sound argument for it being and sway the minds of one or both of those individuals, swaying the outcome of whether it is or not.
Just in like the same sense that I could sway you to buy a blue car or a red car the next time you buy a car, but I have no say. If Carl says, no, I'm buying a red car, not a blue one, then I'm done. Then I was in the room. I came to the dealership with you, right? I helped you pick out your last one and all previous ones or whatever, right? Like, but that doesn't give me, I say, well, I helped you pick out the last 4 colors and you never had an issue with those. Doesn't matter. Go suck an egg.
Yeah, but there's a lot more at stake here than the color of a car.
Well,
like, yeah, I feel like that's an apples and oranges comparison. If you want to use a car comparison, you got to be like car versus truck. Two vastly different vehicles, where if I have the opinion of like, I'm going to buy this car, and you're like, Carl, Canadian weather, all-wheel drive, you're throwing actual valid facts that can change my opinion over color. Like the only thing that could change my opinion over color is insurance, because red cars get worse insurance rates.
Absolutely. But if I present every good argument that's out there, and you want to talk about outvoted, say Aaron's with us. You, me, and Aaron Mater. And both Aaron and I are presenting the best arguments in the world for a truck. For you to buy a truck instead of a car, instead of a smart car. But if Carl says, I hear your arguments, I realize I'm outnumbered, but I'm Kevin Feige, bitch, and I'm buying a smart car, then Aaron and I can go suck an egg.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's all I'm saying.
He doesn't have huge voting power. I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm not saying he can outrank the two. I'm not saying he can outrank either one of them individually. I'm simply saying he has a voice. And the other two are not going to give him the backhand and say, get away, you don't know what you're talking about. The guy has been a producer on almost everything Marvel.
Sure. And they may not do that publicly, but I do wonder if after this statement went out, Kevin Feige called Brad into his office and said, what the hell are you talking about? Would you just know? Right? Like, I don't know. Right? Like it's kind of one of those, a question that he was asked on the spot, and everything with the MCU is so like, am I allowed to say this, or are they going to kill my family? Like, I don't.
Which only leads to gives more credence to why he said, Carly, he named himself. He doesn't want to speak for the company. He doesn't want to speak for Kevin Feige. He's simply, he wants to hammer home the fact that this is his mindset. Yeah. When it comes to this series.
Yeah.
And other TV series pre-Endgame.
So it looks like the ball is, I would say the pendulum is still in the middle.
I'd say it's a swing. It's not a huge swing. I'm not saying swing. It's like, I'd say it's like 25% move towards it's happening.
Yeah. If I had to put money on it, I would still say that it is canon, but that it happened Elseworld, just because Kevin Feige is the type of guy that doesn't like, why would Kevin Feige, when you already have the same actors, you already have Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, so you already know that fans of the Netflix show are going to jump on board and at least give a shot to whatever it is that you make.
You also have John Baratheon as Punisher.
Yep. So why, if you have all three of those, and you had the choice as Kevin Feige, the architect of the MCU, if you had the choice between saying, yep, all that happened in the sacred timeline, all that happened in 616, but now you're completely beholden to the story, like you're suddenly limiting yourself on so many things because there's already story there that you have to honor and stay true to, kind of handcuffs you a little bit. Or you're Kevin Feige and you say, look, we have everyone in place, and what we're going to say is instead of 616, that happened on Earth 512 or whatever it was. And now we can tell whatever story, we can do whatever we want.
The big counterpoint to that, Brad makes himself, right? By saying, now that time has passed and we look back, like we're well past the time frame of those stories. And we can see how, he says, how well integrated those stories are to the sacred timeline. Because they really don't sway the MCU, the cinematic stories very much. They don't sway the current stories very much because so much time has passed. They did a really good job of integrating themselves into the MCU when the MCU was big and growing and before Endgame. Like they don't change or affect that much, right? Essentially, what you do by taking those shows into the MCU proper is we have these great, beautifully established characters, minus Iron Fist, and we can continue to make them amazing.
Yeah.
The only one you really need to like go back to the drawing board for is Iron Fist, because they screwed the pooch on that somehow.
But how do you do that? How do you see? Because then you get into that messy, like, this is canon and that's not, and that's not canon, and this is. Yeah,
you can just ignore it.
All right. Anyways, moving on. So there is a long history of toys spoiling the shit out of movies.
Oh, yeah.
specifically Lego.
Specifically Lego. I was about to say
Lego.
Lego being a chief among peers at doing this.
Now, it has been rumored for a while now, ever since we found out after William Hurt, the actor who had played Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross in the MCU, ever since the Incredible Hulk. And then we didn't see him for a number of years, and then they kind of brought him back into the MCU in a larger way. He was no longer General Ross. He was like Senator something or
something like that.
Chief head of whatever. Some big governmental guy. And he passed away, and then we found out that they were going to recast the role. They were going to continue that character, and it was going to be played by old, grumpy, angry man Harrison Ford.
Perfect.
And I'm just excited to see Harrison Ford with the mustache. I'm really like
yeah, it's a good point.
And that they were going to they were going to keep him in, that he was probably going to be, we found out that he was going to be a part of Captain America 4. We found out that he was obviously going to play a large role in the Thunderbolts movie that they're making. And the question started to circulate. Could we see, because depending on which version of the comics you're reading, Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross is sometimes the Red Hulk. Not in every comic iteration, but sometimes. And so that question kind of started circulating, and rumors and speculation of, will we see Red Hulk? Because it'd be pretty easy. Like, Harrison Ford's an old man, but Red Hulk would be all CGI, and Thunderbolt Ross himself is not a extremely physical character. And so it all kind of checks out that you could still do that. You could make that work. Well, a Lego set has been announced, revealed for $54.99, 223 pieces. I'm assuming $54.99 American.
More than likely.
More than likely. Lego set 76292, just in case you're following along at home. And it is Sam Wilson in the, if not the same, a very similar Captain America suit that we saw him get from the Wakandans at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier. And we see Red Hulk. And the set's called Captain America versus Red Hulk. Now, there's a couple of things to take into account here before we simply say, that's it, Lego spoiled it, it's official, we're getting Red Hulk in Captain America 4. Number one is, it does not surprise me that this set has been announced or has surfaced now, because Captain America 4 was originally supposed to come out pretty damn soon, right? And these toy companies, whether it be Hasbro, whether it be Lego, whether it be Mattel, whoever it is, they start on these toys years in advance, right? Like you'll have representatives from Lego at Marvel Studios looking at scenes that have been shot, or concept art, storyboards, whatever it is, so that they can get started, because it takes time. It takes time to make the prototypes and then make the molds and then make, it's like this whole ordeal, and then mass produce and whatever. So it doesn't surprise me that even though now Captain America 4 is currently slated for February of 2025, it doesn't surprise me that these are surfacing now, because long before that delay happened, these toys were in production. So there's that. But the important thing here is, this would not be the first time that Lego has released a Lego set. Usually there'll be a scene, right? It'll be like an upcoming, I think there was one with Doctor Strange or something, where there was a scene. Like the set that you got was a fight scene, right? You get several characters, you get some scenery, and on the cover art of the box they're doing battle. And we would see those toys announced, those Lego sets, and we would go, holy shit, so-and-so's in this and they're going to fight so-and-so. That's nuts. And we would, some people would get really excited. Some people would get mad at Lego, be like, what the hell, Lego? Way to go. Thanks for spoiling that. And then the movie would come out and we'd go see the movie and we'd go, that fight never happens.
It's kind of like the promotional material behind Infinity War, where we see Hulk running with the rest of the Avengers, but Hulk never shows up in that fight.
Yeah, I mean, that was an intentional misdirect.
No,
but similar. And so this wouldn't be the first time that we've gone, well, that fight never happens, and that guy's not even in it. Right? They could do like a Spider-Man No Way Home, they wouldn't have done it for No Way Home because the speculation of who was in that was huge, but they could have done like a Spider-Man Far From Home Lego set, and Dr. Octopus and Venom are also in it because it's toys. Because it's a toy set. It's meant for playing and imagining and, doing whatever. So, does this add weight? Does it throw some weight behind the idea that we're going to see Red Hulk in Captain America 4? Absolutely. Obviously. Right? Obviously it does. Does this confirm that we are going to see Red Hulk in Captain America 4? No. No, not at all. It seems like maybe it's likely, but this also wouldn't be the first time that a Lego set came out that was a little misleading, right? Or we thought spoiled something when really it didn't. So I kind of err on the side. I think there's a 65% chance that Red Hulk is going to show up. I don't know. You have a non-superpowered, a non-superhuman, super soldiered Sam Wilson. Captain America is just a guy now with some tech who miraculously, over one weekend at the cottage, mastered the voodoo that is the Captain America shield. I don't know that guy goes up against Red Hulk. Like, I just don't know. Right? Like, so that's the thing that kind of seems weird to me. Anyways, Carl, you've seen the picture of this Lego set. I mean, it's cool. It's a bitchin' Red Hulk, man. Do you think that this is, that's it? It's in the bag. We're going to see Red Hulk now. And if not, what at least do you think the chances are?
I think they're pretty good. Like, over 50. I think it's over 50.
Yeah.
Like Lego's got it right more than it's got it wrong because they've got the inside scoop. That being said, I think there are some other fun like nods here to what this show will be a little have in it outside of Red Hulk. Like Red Hulk's a big wow, but like we're gonna see a new Falcon in, I think it's Jacques Torres, the guy what we seen in the what was it called? Falcon and Winter Soldier. Is that what it was called? That show? Yeah, it was the guy that was kind of
he's like
Sam's guy in the
kinda,
chair.
Yeah,
he's kind of Sam's guy in the chair for that show. He's going to be the new Falcon.
Yeah, because apparently that's a mantle that needs to be passed on.
Yeah,
whatever reason.
But also this Ruth Bat Seraph, Sabra, which I was unfamiliar with, so I quickly kind of wikied her. She's some mutant that works for the Israeli Defense Force.
Right.
So we're gonna get my guess. Like looking at her power set, she's pretty much like a Captain America power set, even though she's a mutant. She's got superhuman abilities and healing. My bet is they just kind of make her the same kind of person that they made she somehow got her hands on superhuman serum because mutants don't exist yet, even though they've been kind of hinting at it. I think this is I think this is likely. If he doesn't show up as the Red Hulk, he's obviously in it in some capacity.
So then, are you mad?
No, I don't care.
You don't care? You don't care that you don't care. He doesn't care. You don't care that they spoiled the
if I cared more about what's happening in the MCU right now, I would care, but I'm just so confused and disappointed and yeah, I don't know. It's hard to be disappointed when you've been let down so many times and aren't getting your hopes up.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Moving on. Paramount. Now, Paramount has been around for a coon's age. In fact, I kind of want to look it up. Paramount. When did Paramount become a thing? Paramount formally started in 1912.
Wow.
Yeah. Right?
That is
Paramount
ancient.
is the sixth oldest surviving studio in the world after Gaumont Film Company, which apparently is still a thing. I've never heard of Gaumont. See, okay, just so everyone knows, I'm letting you know right now we're going on a tangent because now I'm fascinated. Gaumont Film Company, often in French, is a French film studio. Okay. Still running today. Actually, let's go through this in reverse order so that we can end with the crazy one.
Order it.
But reverse chronological order, right? So Universal Studios also formed in 1912, April 30th of 1912.
So Paramount Pictures as well.
Yeah.
So these are all like, what's the parent company here and what's the subsidiaries, I wonder?
I don't know. So Nordisk Film, you already looked this up, didn't you? You bastard.
No, I just Googled Paramount Pictures. I'm looking
okay.
at the same time as you.
So Nordisk Film started in 1906.
Paramount.
And
Paramount Pictures and parent companies are Paramount Global and Viacom.
And did the this Nordisk Films did the Scandinavian distribution, or is doing the Scandinavian distribution of the 2024 The Crow, and then a bunch of things no one's ever heard of. It's a Nordic film, a Danish film company, but they started in 1906. Titanus is an Italian film company that started in 1904, 120 years ago. Pathy is another French film company that started in 1896, 127 years ago. And finally, the oldest, which we already talked about, Gaumont, started in 1895. Holy. Good for them.
I went down a different rabbit hole. I went down like the parent organizations, which aren't as old and don't have so much history.
No, because people buy them, right? You get bought and you know.
Yeah.
But so anyways, Paramount's been around a long time. Right?
Yeah.
Very long time.
Lots of history.
Lots of history. For the longest time, sort of Canada's premier amusement park that's not too far from where you and I live, Canada's Wonderland, for years and years and years and years and years was Paramount Canada's Wonderland.
Yeah.
Right? The highest grossing films for Paramount: World War Z, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, Mission Impossible 2, Kung Fu Panda, Madagascar 3, How to Train Your Dragon. The 1990s film Ghost that we all know, Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore. Mission Impossible Fallout, Star Trek Into the Darkness, the Tom Cruise War of the Worlds, Beverly Hills Cop, Shrek.
Are these in no particular order?
These are, they're getting higher and higher.
Okay, you're going up. No, okay.
Yeah. Shrek Forever After, Transformers Age of Extinction, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Star Trek, Iron Man 2, because don't forget, the first couple of MCU films were not distributed by Marvel. They were like Paramount Disney. Films. They were Paramount films.
Yeah.
Transformers, Shrek the Third, Forrest Gump, Transformers of the Dark of the Moon, Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen, Titanic, and their highest grossing film, box office gross in Canada and the US. Sorry, these were not worldwide. This is North America. Is Top Gun Maverick. And so they've been around a long time. And something that should seem pretty consistent on that list is the name Tom Cruise. Right? Top Gun, War of the Worlds, the Mission Impossible films. They're not
strange-bellied fellows. They know each other well between the sheets.
Right? Tom Cruise was supposed to be the first Iron Man, right? Like,
thank God
originally Iron Man. But that's the thing, right? Is Tom Cruise, for many years, has had his ass firmly planted at Paramount.
Yeah.
And not just like he does Paramount films, but Tom Cruise's production company has been set up working out of Paramount, on the Paramount lot. Well, there has been recently some whisperings that Paramount not doing so good. Not doing so good. Might be selling. Right? There is a bunch of layoffs. There's their head shareholder is in talks, or has been talking about sharing the controlling interest of the company. And so the question has become, well, what is going to happen to Paramount? And the entity, the company that has shown the most interest, the most public interest, and has the most bank account behind them to be able to back this is Warner Brothers. Right? Warner Brothers, which just bought... did Warner Brothers buy, or did they buy Warner Brothers? But Warner Brothers and Discovery are kind of a conglomerate now, right?
My guess would be it'd be Warner Brothers bought Discovery.
Maybe.
I don't think Discovery would have been near big enough to buy Warner Brothers at any level.
I don't know, man.
Discovery is like TV show. Warner Brothers was like TV movies and
but Warner Brothers was struggling there for quite some time. Subsidiaries are Turner Entertainment, New Line Cinema, Castle Rock Entertainment, Water Tower Music. Parent company is Warner Brothers Discovery. So, divisions, subsidiaries, Warner Brothers Discovery Networks. I don't know. Company's properties divided into DC Comics and Discovery Inc. Have conjoined histories, blah, 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 foundation, beginning of operations. Where's the Turkish streaming platforms? Anyways, doesn't matter. But there's been a lot of talks that Warner Brothers was going to buy Paramount. And those talks are still going on, right? And that would put Warner Brothers in a very, very powerful position. Because they would be able to combine Warner Brothers, Paramount, which means you have CNN, CBS, and HBO all in one house. That's potent. That would make them pretty...
They'd be a big heavy hitter.
Pretty, what's the word I'm looking for? Not mighty. Formidable. Pretty formidable. Now, something else interesting has just happened in terms of Paramount and Warner Brothers, and that is Tom Cruise, the Paramount boy, the Paramount kid, has signed a new deal with Warner Brothers to develop and produce original and franchise films.
Jumping ship.
He's going to set up shop over at Warner Brothers. That's where his production company will work out of. His employees will be on the Warner Brothers lot. Now, there's speculation out there that this is Warner Brothers approaching Tom Cruise and saying, hey, we're going to buy Paramount, so you might as well just sign with us now because you're going to be with us soon anyways. Right? Like, you know.
Get a head start.
Let's save some paperwork here and you can just hop on now. I don't know. I don't know what that means. It's interesting though. I think one of the more interesting things about this. Now, I heard someone talking about this online and they put it really, really aptly. So I'm going to sort of steal their analogy. Deals like this in Hollywood do not work the same way as sports teams. Right? If Carl gets signed to the Mets, it's never going to happen. If Carl gets signed to the Mets,
happen one day.
Carl's not allowed to play for any other teams other than the Mets. Right? Otherwise, it's a breach of contract. You can't fill in on some other team one day because someone's feeling sick. Deals like this in Hollywood, Tom Cruise will be able to make films with other studios occasionally, sometimes, depending on the circumstances. It's very possible that Warner Brothers will have a first look agreement, right? Which basically means anything that Tom Cruise's production company, any scripts they come up with, any film pitches that they have, Warner Brother gets the first stab at. They get to say yes or no. You know, and if they say no, then Tom Cruise is allowed to shop it out to someone else if he wants to. I don't know. What's interesting here is to develop and produce original and franchise films. Meaning what? Meaning that if there was ever a Top Gun 3, that would be a Warner Brothers film now?
That depends on who owns the rights. If Tom Cruise's production company owns the rights to it, then that could be a yes. But
right.
If Paramount owns the rights to it, which I think they do, it would be a no.
But if Warner Brothers buys Paramount, then
it would be
yes
a yes
anyways.
Yeah.
Right? And what maybe potential future, because Dead Reckoning Part 2, I'm pretty sure is already in the can. Like it's shot and they're probably doing post on it right now. But if Mission Impossible continued on past that, they may be Warner Brothers films now. That's powerful, man. Warner Brothers has got themselves sitting in a pretty nice spot right now. They've got HBO. They have the DC universe, which has been, whatever up until this point. But, also it seems like maybe they're getting their shit together. I don't know. Maybe.
We'll see. They still have yet to put out a movie.
Right. But Warner Brothers also owning New Line Cinema. Warner Brothers has all the Lord of the Rings stuff. Warner Brothers has the whole Wizarding World Harry Potter stuff.
Mm-hmm. And
now Tom Cruise, who, like him or hate him, he's a box office draw.
Yeah.
So it very, 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 very interesting. Kind of shook the world a little bit when it happened the other day. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what comes out of this, what this may mean. I'm telling you this right now. I don't know who. I don't know for sure. But I think the chances just got much bigger that Tom Cruise will be in the DCU. Just got much bigger. Now, I don't know if I want that. I don't know who you would get him to play.
James Gunn doesn't really, like, thinking about James Gunn films. He doesn't, he picks well-known actors for roles.
Yeah.
But at the time he picks them, they're usually not like box office draws.
Well, but he will do cameos, though, right?
Usually, if they're already predetermined, like preset, like Batman was already when he did Suicide Squad. Batman was already Ben Affleck. Like he can't not use Batman.
No, but I mean, so look at Guardians. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 has Sylvester Stallone in it, and Kurt Russell.
Okay, yeah.
Right, you've got Nathan Fillion.
I would, as much as I love Kurt Russell, I wouldn't say he's a box office draw anymore.
No, well, neither Stallone.
Well, Stallone.
Stallone's not a box office draw anymore. If they said
not
they were
as much
doing,
as he used to be.
If they said to hell with Creed, we're doing Rocky 32 or whatever Rocky they're up to, maybe, but that would be just as much the Rocky name as it would be Stallone, right? Or Rambo.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how this shakes out if he shows up in the MCU. I think Tom Cruise could have made, DCU. I mean, obviously he's been cast. Did I say MCU?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely not showing up in the MCU now.
No.
Not going to happen. But if he does show up in the DCU, look, I know Nicholas Hoult has been cast, and I love that casting. If Tom Cruise was willing to shave his head, he could have made a cool Lex Luthor.
I could see that only because I've seen him in Tropic Thunder.
Because he played Grossman. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. The role, and listen. If you go back and you look at box office numbers, you look at box office draw, you look at the popularity of film stars, make no mistake, his role in Tropic Thunder revitalized Tom Cruise's career. People don't think that. But if you go back and you look at just where we like to remember history with rose-petaled glasses and think, oh, Tom Cruise was always massive. Nah, he was pretty much falling off the map. And then he showed up in Tropic Thunder. And then Tom Cruise was back, baby. So, yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Interesting
and
to see.
Even since then, he's had some flops.
Oh, sure.
Like, The Mummy was a disaster.
It was a disaster.
And it was, and from what I understand, it was him personally that pretty much crashed the entire franchise.
Yeah, it's
that was
that
supposed
whole
to be
thing.
A big monster universe thing.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Universal's Monsterverse.
Yeah, the way he forced Universal's hand to have like him and everything, and yeah, it kind of crashed the entire thing.
Which is too bad because I was totally on board with Russell Crowe's Dr. Jekyll.
Oh, right. The premise of the Monsterverse that they had set up was awesome. The only downside was him. Right. Mm-hmm. Like in a show that's supposed to be about a scary mummy, we barely ever saw the scary mummy. We just saw Tom Cruise. It was not that interesting.
Yeah. All right, moving on. The Last of Us. Did you watch The Last of Us?
I did not. I don't have the streaming service to watch The Last of Us.
Listen, I've never played the video game.
Neither have I.
Because I'm not a PlayStation guy, so I haven't had it available to me. I think if I did own a PlayStation, I would probably play it. But I just never have, and so I never have. There is an episode, which I'm sure you've heard of because it made big waves. There is an episode of The Last of Us, where Pedro Pascal and Ellie, Joel and Ellie, don't actually really show up in it until the end of the episode. And the whole thing is kind of a flashback, and it circles around Nick Offerman playing a gay character who falls in love with this guy, and tragedy kind of hits, and the zombies happen, and and it is not only an amazing episode, but it is, like when that episode ended, everyone was kind of like, so do we just mail Nick Offerman the Emmy, or what's the fastest way to get it to him? Because it was a non-comedic role, and it was powerful. Like, it was just really spectacular. Anyways, Nick Offerman has said, when asked about the potential of a Last of Us prequel, he said, it certainly has been pitched. I think we pitched a whole miniseries of a prequel of their lives before they met each other. That would be Nick Offerman's character and his lover. He says, I think a musical, as a joke. We're not short on ideas. We'll just see what Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann come up with. So, I mean, maybe you won't have much to say on this because you haven't seen the show, you haven't seen the episode, but this could be, I mean, we know that a season 2 and presumably season 3 of Last of Us is coming, right? Because there's 2 games, and the first season covers the first game, and they said a while ago that because the second game has got so much more in it, that they're going to split the second game up between 2 seasons. Could we end up with the Last of Us verse? Right? Where we have these, I mean, it's not out of the question, right? Because you take that setting, you take a setting where it's post-zombie apocalypse and people are just kind of fighting to survive, and we're hanging, I'm the medic in this settlement, or we never joined a settlement, we have our own little house that we've boarded up, and we're doomsday preppers, and so we've got all this. Within that world, within that setting, once you set that up, everybody in that universe has an interesting story to tell.
Yeah.
Everybody has gone through something.
Definitely an interesting universe that you could dive into for sure.
Yeah. So I'm not. Is there even a point in asking you if you think this will happen? I mean, you don't know.
I mean, I've never played the games. I know of them, obviously. I don't know. I like Nick Offerman. I think he's great.
He's so good.
So sure. Let it happen, I guess. I don't know.
I prefer Nick Offerman's dramatic roles.
Yeah, I'm on his IMDb, and I'm trying to remember. I seen him in something recently, and I was like, that was... No, it was actually... I just realized it wasn't Nick Offerman that I seen recently in something dramatic that has been in a lot of comedic stuff. It was... what is his name? Oh, there he is. Who is that? Malcolm in the Middle dad. Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston.
I just watched him in this Netflix show. It just showed up on Netflix a little while back.
Right.
Recently.
Yeah, the first time I ever saw Nick Offerman, because what is it? Is he Parks and Rec or he's Arrested Development?
He's Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec. Okay. I've never seen either of those shows. But so I wasn't on the Nick Offerman train. I didn't know who he was until I saw him play one of the original McDonald brothers in The Founder, right? Where Michael Keaton plays the guy that sort of took the little burger shop and franchised it, and then stole the company and did whatever. Yep. And I loved him in that. He was
great. He was really good.
I loved him in that, and so I'm a big fan, and I would watch this show. I think it was the standout episode. And it was an episode that didn't even really feature the main characters of the show. So that's interesting. All right, moving on to another funny man gone serious, Bob Odenkirk.
Man, can I tell a quick anecdote? I think maybe I've talked to you about this before. Maybe I even talked about it on this show.
Sure.
Have you heard the story about him working on SNL? Did you know he worked on SNL?
I knew he worked on SNL.
He was a writer. So, man, I suck with names. Farley.
Chris Farley.
Chris Farley. Did you know he came up with the living in the van down by the river character for Chris Farley?
I did not know that.
Yeah. He wrote that for Chris Farley. Chris Farley kind of came up with the character, and then he took the character and was like, this would be way funnier, apparently. Right. And like wrote the whole bit for him. And then the rest is history. So like the guy knows comedy. So to see him and like I knew him first from Breaking Bad, and then and then Better Call Saul, and then I've seen Nobody. But like I didn't even know he had comedic roots. I would love to see him in an actual straight up comedy role. I think it would be hilarious.
Oh yeah. All right. So anyway. speaking of Nobody, a film that not a lot of people saw.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people saw, simply, I think, largely
flew under the radar
because of when it came out.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, you're doing yourself a disservice.
It was a pandemic era film.
Yeah. You got to watch this film.
I didn't know what I will say about Nobody is I didn't know that I needed to see shotgun wielding Christopher Lloyd until I saw shotgun wielding Christopher Lloyd.
Yes.
And then I was like, okay, that was a void I didn't know I had, but it's been filled. Yeah. So Nobody, if you haven't seen it, you don't know what it is from the same makers, the producers of the John Wick franchise. So
there's
sort of
rumors it's the same universe.
Well, and that's the thing, right?
This is kind of like our first discussion. There's nobody said it is, nobody said it isn't.
Yes.
But anyway.
And so it's sort of that hyper-violent, combative, guy that used to be a killer and settled.
Like realistic too. Like the main character takes his licks and shows it.
Yeah. Used to be a killer, settled down to have a family, something happens, and he's got to
somehow
pick the gun back up, right? And go on a little bit of a killing spree.
Yeah.
And oh god, the bus fight scene.
Oh man.
So good.
Oh.
So good. Better than the Shang-Chi fight bus scene.
It's exhausting to watch.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Amazing film. If you like a guy sitting in a police interview room with a cat and a can of tuna, this is the film for you.
That's the pitch everybody needed to hear.
Yeah. And so, there was rumors, right? And people started speculating. They're like, well, it's a very similar kind of premise and setup in a lot of ways to John Wick, and it's made by the same people, and so did John Wick, and I don't even remember the character's name. Does it say in this article? Probably not. Hutch, yes, and Hutch, did they cross paths? Were they colleagues at some point? Were they
not likely? Because this guy was government military.
Right.
Hutch was military, and John Wick is mob enforcer.
So was Hutch assigned to try to take down John Wick at one point? Right? Like, there's all kinds of potential crossovers, and many people who have seen both want a crossover, myself included. But what I want even more, and it sounds like it's coming, is Nobody 2. Connie Nielsen says that a sequel to the Bob Odenkirk starring Nobody is happening. It is in production. It is going to be a thing. Oh, this warms my heart.
I feel like Nobody 2 should not be the title. I feel like it needs to be like Still Nobody or
Still Nobody. Ooh.
I Told You I'm Nobody. Or you know what I mean? Like use the word nobody, but add something to it before or after.
Absolutely Nobody.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I feel like that's got, gives it, I like that ring better than just a number.
Yeah. I'm stoked. This is one of those films. Just keep going. Just make more. It's one of those, it's not, Nobody is never one of those films. And nor is John Wick. It's not one of those franchises where you go, no, don't make another because, there was such a nice bow on it and they ended the story so perfectly. And it just, no, it's a violent action shooter kind of movie. You can just keep going. You can just tell he's pissed someone else off and someone else is hunting him now, or he's still dealing with the ramifications from, the wreckage that he caused in the first one.
Yeah, or something will come to light. Like the whole reason we got John Wick 2 is because now he's back in the game, and
people have heard that he's in the game, and now
now Hutch is back in the game. Okay, you're back in the game, Hutch. We're gonna put you back in the game. Like somehow try and get back out. Man, I am down. I'm down for it. Like this, I love action flicks. Like 90s action flicks are awesome. I love them. But this kind of new era of action flicks that John Wick has kind of ushered in, where they're a little more gritty and realistic in terms of the hero is not invincible. They just hit home that much harder, kind of, and draw you in that much better than the 90s stuff where the hero's pretty much almost usually invincible. Not always, sometimes you got your diehard superhero who steps on glass and he's hobbling along the whole show. But like most Arnold stuff, he's literally invincible all the whole movie.
Yeah.
So this new era of action is a great direction, and I just want to see more of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see just build on it and see what new creative directions that it can be taken.
I'm trying to see. Is that the same insignia?
What insignia are you looking at?
There's a shot in Nobody where he's got like what is it? It's like a arcade machine or a slot machine or something in his house. He's got a bunch of money and gold and stuff stashed in.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Some like passports.
You're trying to see if he's got the coins that are similar to the hotel coins.
Well, there's gold bars and there's something stamped into it, and people on the internet are trying to draw connections between the stamp on the gold bars and the face of the gold coins, like the continental coins.
Right.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. That'd be fun. To have that kind of crossover.
Yeah.
Yeah, God, Nobody's a good movie. I'm so excited. So you're excited. You watched the second one.
This is a great film. Like I said, if you haven't seen this yet, if you're listening to this podcast and you haven't seen this, you're doing yourself a disservice. It's on Netflix Canada if you live in Canada. Sit down and watch it. Grab a bucket of popcorn. It's awesome.
Yeah. All right, moving on to our final story, and the one that I just opened Facebook, and someone posted an image of they had bought like a Walmart Stormtrooper figurine.
Right.
and the mask, the helmet, the stormtrooper helmet is like snapped in half and half hanging off the head. And the guy says, "My son wanted to see what was under the stormtrooper's helmet." So they cut into it. Evidently, it's an unpainted Jango Fett, and it is. They use the same. It's just so good.
What?
It's like such like total coincidence that they're just like, well, this is the head that we have that is already set up to fit helmets because it's the head that we use probably for the Jango Fett and the Boba Fett toys. So just use that head mold because we already have it.
So the helmet didn't come off naturally?
No, it's not supposed to.
That's weird that it's just not a molded, solid mold helmet.
Yeah, well, because I guess they still want it to pivot, and I don't know, right? I don't know. It's just whatever the process was for making the toys. I'm sending it to you, but that's hilarious to me, and what a fun, just bullshit coincidence that is, Yeah,
that's weird. To me, it seems like you would just it'd be solid plastic underneath the helmet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's cool. See? So there are still some Stormtrooper clones out there.
There you go.
Talking about Star Wars. Star Wars. No franchise is as big of a mess as Star Wars. Star Wars makes the MCU look like they have their shit together, and that's pretty sad.
Together, they make Disney look like they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to sound like a broken record. Star Wars is a flipping mess.
Indeed.
And I don't even mean in terms of quality. Right? I don't mean in terms of, well, this project wasn't very good, or this one's not very good, or this one was good, but this one sucked. That's not what I mean. Right? Because
we need an antagonist, and somehow Palpatine has returned.
Well, no, but that makes sense. That makes sense to me. And I'm fine with that.
Not for the cinematic universe. It doesn't.
Yeah, he cloned himself. Yeah, no, it works.
That's a hard sell. I get it from no longer canon Legends, but they did it better in Legends. To just at the beginning of the film go, we need an antagonist, so somehow Palpatine returned. That's bad storytelling. That's bad storytelling.
The quality of Star Wars.
You got 2 films to set it up, and that's what you do. That's bad storytelling.
Shut up.
I don't care who you are.
I'm going to mute you. The quality of Star Wars projects is not what we're talking about. Star Wars has been a mess in terms of announcing projects like, hey, I have an idea. What if we did this? Great idea. I'll announce it tomorrow. No, hang on. Because it's just let's hatch this idea a little bit more. Let's cook this egg before we got to tell people. Okay. And as a result, there hasn't been a Star Wars film in production since Rise of Skywalker came out in 2019. Jeez. And so, we had that Rogue Squadron movie that just kind of disappeared, the Patty Jenkins one. A really cool video we all saw of Patty Jenkins on the tarmac with the X-Wing in the jumpsuit, right? And then Taika Waititi was going to do, and then there was the Rian Johnson spin-off trilogy, and then and all of these things just have not happened. We make announcements, and then they quietly
it's like
get
they
shelved.
never got out of storyboarding.
Yeah,
they never got out of script writing.
Quietly get shelved, right? And then this director's attached, but then he's gone, and there's new directors attached, and now they're gone, and then we fired the writer, and there's a new writer, and now they're gone. And it's just this perpetual vomit bucket of announcements and then shelvings. And it seemed like I don't know, 6 months back, whenever that was, Star Wars Celebration, it seemed like we had gotten the most concrete announcements, look, here are the 3 films we're making. Here are the directors that are making them. They're on stage with us right now, all 3 of them. This is happening. They're going to each tell you a little bit about the project. They're super excited. We're super excited. This is the future of Star Wars. And you would be a fool to look at that and go, hey, look, these are the Star Wars films we're getting. But I played the part of that fool. Right? Because I was like, well, look, all the directors are right there. Like, they seem like they've kind of learned from the issues they've been having.
Right. But it's not something we haven't seen before.
Well, yeah. But it felt more legitimate this time. Right? We're getting a Rey film set 10 years after the Rise of Skywalker. Rey's building up the new Jedi Order. We're getting a High Republic Star Wars movie, rather. And we're getting an Origins of the Force, Origins of the Jedi, discovering that the Force is a thing movie. And I know many people were like, oh, we already have midichlorians. Well, you got to explain the Force further. We don't care. We don't want it. It sounded cool to me. I was like, oh, cool. Yeah. All right. Cool. I'm on board with that. The discovery of the light side and the dark side. And it'll probably feature the son, the daughter, and the father from the Clone Wars series, because how could it not?
Yeah. Well, there's lots of Legends lore out there that dove into the origins of the Jedi Order and the Sith Order and the light side and dark side. So to explore it and make it true canon again and would be I'm down with as well.
Yeah. So I was like, cool. And then we found out a little while ago that it sounded like all signs were pointing to the first of those 3 films that were going to go into production. The next Star Wars film that we were getting was that Rey film, and it was going to start shooting in this spring. Cool. All right. They're serious about this. We're going to get this done. Cool.
Are we though?
And it sounds like that Rey film is still coming. It's just not the one that's coming next. The one of those 3 that we just talked about that's coming next is none of those 3. It is a film that is going to go into production this year. Directed not by Dave Filoni, not by any of the other people that were mentioned, directed by Jon Favreau.
Let's go! Yeah.
Produced by Kathleen Kennedy and Dave Filoni. And the film is The Mandalorian and Grogu. Now, Favreau said, I have loved telling stories set in the rich world that George Lucas created, said Favreau. The prospect of bringing The Mandalorian and his apprentice Grogu to the big screen. Don't call him your apprentice. You're not a Jedi.
Yeah,
he's not your apprentice.
Weird.
Is extremely exciting. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have ushered into Star Wars 2 new and beloved characters, and this new story is a perfect fit for the big screen, added Kathleen Kennedy, president of Lucasfilm. Now, a couple of things. Boo. No, okay. No, a couple of things. I think that this is likely, and the only reason I think that this is actually likely going to happen is I think Jon Favreau is pretty much non-bullshit, and he is going to see this through.
Yes. Another big thing that makes this very probable is the only thing pushing Star Wars right now is Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau's The Mandalorian, Ahsoka. They're the only thing that's happening.
Wow.
So it makes sense. It makes sense that a movie continuing to push those stories is next.
Here's the thing.
Whether you like them or not, Brady.
No. But here's the thing. So what happened to? Because we were supposed to get a Dave Filoni directed Mandoverse film that culminated all three of these shows, culminated Book of Boba Fett, culminated Ahsoka, culminated Mandalorian, picked up with the whole like, oh shit, Thrawn's back. Directed by Dave Filoni. Where the hell's that?
But maybe this is it.
Directed by Jon Favreau, simply about the Mandalorian and Grogu. This is not it.
Well, maybe this is just like a lead in to that some more. I don't know.
Brady.
I'm not in the writer's room.
I think what has happened is that was the plan. And then Ahsoka came out and nobody liked Ahsoka. And
Ahsoka's been slated for a second season already.
Right, I know.
So,
but look at the ratings.
No, I'm not disagreeing with the ratings.
And I think that over at Lucasfilm, they have at some point in the last 2-3 months, quietly shelved that film.
I would disagree.
I don't know, man. You've got a film that you're going to base off 3 TV series, and 2 of those 3 TV series were not well received. Why make that film? As opposed to shelving that and saying, okay, the only series that we've put out in that Mando universe, the only series that people have liked, even though our 3rd season was shaky at best, was not great. It was a weak 3rd season. The only one that people can get behind is The Mandalorian. And what is our most marketable t-shirt, toy, backpack, lunchbox, sneakers, underwear? What is our most marketable selling thing right now? Grogu. Baby Yoda.
Right. Agreed. Now, I'll tell you what's going to happen.
You just went from, I don't know, I'm not in the writer's room, to this is the plan.
I've taken some time to think about it.
You've twisted my arm, and I'll spill the beans.
Yeah. So here's what I think will happen. This film is entering development this year. Ahsoka 2 is entering development this year. They can't make that culmination film until Ahsoka 2 is done. Right? They have to release Ahsoka 2 before they can release this culmination film that you believe is shelved. So they released this film telling Mando's story, picking up where we left off in the last season of The Mandalorian. Ahsoka comes out right around the same time, continuing that storyline from that perspective. And I bet you any money, I bet you $5. Dude, what happens? I'll put money on it.
$5. We went from any money to $5.
Well, I've only got so much money.
Look,
and my wife would kill me if I spent more than $5.
Here's the thing. I was not... I think that from a business standpoint, this makes sense. I think that leading into your next generation of films with a film that is about a very divisive character in Rey. Some people love her, some people hate her. I think that that's risky, and I think that that's a weird choice from a business standpoint. Right? Releasing a film about a divisive character when you're aware that your fandom is at each other's throats right now is a messy business decision. And Mandalorian being the only project.
It's not the only project.
In what you don't know what I was going to say.
Okay. All right. Finish. You interrupted me. I won't interrupt you.
The Mandalorian being your only current project, right? Not everybody liked Obi-Wan. Some people hated Obi-Wan. There were some issues with it, but I found a lot of things to enjoy. Not everybody liked Andor. A lot of people are like, I don't understand why that you even made this. You and I loved Andor. We thought that show was amazing. A lot of people didn't like Book of Boba Fett. Like, it's very popular to shit on the Book of Boba Fett. Not everybody liked Ahsoka. By the end, I didn't like Ahsoka. First 3 seasons, first 3 episodes, oh my God, they were good. But not everybody liked or cared about Ahsoka. Now, no project has everyone behind it, but the one Star Wars project in the last eon that has had the majority of the Star Wars fandom high-fiving each other, excited, looking to see what's going to happen next, singing the theme song, wearing the shirts with the little stupid alien on it. The one project that kind of patched up the fandom briefly was a Mandalorian.
Right. And there's no debate
season
about
1.
that.
Right. Specifically, right. So, see, when you interrupt me, you seem like a jackass. No, but
you're saying it's the only project, and it's not, because Ahsoka is also a side project.
It's the only project that everybody got behind.
So I don't think that's true, and I'm gonna source Rotten Tomatoes on this. Rotten Tomatoes has the critics give it have an 86%.
No, we got to talk about
266
audience
reviews.
scores.
Audience score is 69.
That's for what, Ahsoka?
Yeah, 70, pretty much 70%. That's pretty freaking good.
It's pretty good.
But
what's
that's
the Mandalorian?
only 16 below the critics score.
But
that's
what's
not
the Mandalorian?
Andor critics are 96, audience is 86.
But there was still people bitching. What is the Mandalorian?
I'm going into that right now.
78. And I bet you a lot of that, I bet you before the 3rd season, I bet you that number was a lot higher. Yeah,
Season 1 is 93 and 92.
93, and then season 2 is 93, and then season 3 is.
But so, 85. You hate on Ahsoka. And
I hate on the ending of Ahsoka.
You hate on the ending of Ahsoka. When we did our breakdowns of it, I didn't hate on it near as much as you.
No, that's fair.
For me, I would say I do fall into that 70% of people who enjoyed it. You fall into the 30% who don't.
Okay, but listen, either way, we both agree that making this Mandalorian and Grogu film as your first film in a very long time.
To get Star Wars fans' butts back in the theater, yes, this is the film.
It's a smart business move.
Absolutely.
What I will say, though.
But it's gonna end with some form of, maybe not a major cliffhanger, but it's gonna end with a lead-in to either Ahsoka 2 or this culmination film that merges Ahsoka, Mando, and Boba.
Sure. But here's the thing.
That film's not dead.
But here's the thing.
Just other things need to happen first.
This is because we've talked about this with the MCU. We've talked about it with Star Wars. We could talk about it with DC if you want to get into shows like Peacemaker and all the new DC shows that they're going to be doing, right? The Themyscira Island show and, all the whatever. The one thing that those other 3 projects, the Rey film, the High Republic show or movie, and the Origins of the Force movie, The one thing that those 3 projects have going for them that this Mandalorian and Grogu show does not is that you can be, right? There are different levels of people who consume entertainment. You have the people at the bottom rung who don't consume any Star Wars. I would like to think and hope that that's a very small percentage. Because what's the matter with probably. You? Who hurt you that you don't watch Star Wars? Who hurt you? Then, in the middle, you have the people who have seen the Star Wars films, who have gone to the theater and watched Star Wars movies. Maybe not even Rogue One and Solo. Maybe not. Right? But like the episode 5, episode 6, episode 7. They went and watched those movies. And then above them, you have the super fans, right? You have the ones that are like, oh shit, tonight's the premiere of the new, I gotta fire up my Disney Plus. Maybe Star Wars shows is the only reason I even signed up for Disney Plus, right? And the same thing exists with everything, with the MCU, right? I've seen all the movies. Yeah, but I didn't watch WandaVision. I didn't watch, whatever. I don't know. It's a show. I go and watch the movies. It's the cinematic universe. And we have shit on the MCU for doing this. We have shit on the MCU for releasing movies where watching one of the shows, watching a streaming service show, was a prerequisite. We've shit on them for that. And what Star Wars is doing right now is no different.
Yeah.
Star Wars is releasing a film. The first film, by the time this thing comes out, it'll be the first film in 6 or 7 years from Star Wars. And if you haven't watched Ahsoka,
three
and you
seasons.
haven't watched Mandalorian, because they're gonna pull from, they're gonna reference stuff that happened in Book of Boba Fett, and they're going to reference, right? If you haven't watched, essentially at that point, 5 or 6, depending on whether Ahsoka season 2 drops before the movie or not, 5 or 6 seasons of a streaming service series.
Yeah, I can't see them referencing Ahsoka, but yeah, you're right. Boba Fett and 3 seasons of Mandalorian for sure.
And that's a dick move. It's a dick move, and it will hurt. It will hurt their numbers a little bit. I think the Mandalorian film will still be very successful at the box office. Do not get me wrong. It will do very well. But it will not do as well as it could have if it wasn't a Mandalorian movie. Because there are Star Wars fans out there, and I would argue, and I think you and I probably disagree on this, and there's no way to settle this, so there's no point in arguing it. But my stance is that center column, the column of people who are fans of Star Wars, but never watched the Clone Wars, never watched Bad Batch, never watched Rebels, never watched Mandalorian, never watched Andor. I think that's a larger, I think of the 3, general movie-going audience, I think that size-wise, I think that slightly edges out the other 2. I think that the people who don't consume any Star Wars is the smallest category. I think that the super fans are a big category. But I think the casual fans of Star Wars, the people who would pay to go see a new Star Wars film, but have not necessarily deep dove into and read the comics to figure out how C-3PO got his red arm, and have not, I think that's a slightly bigger category.
I would actually agree with that. I would say those people still consume the TV shows, though. Not the animated stuff.
Some of them will.
The Mandalorian stuff.
Some of them will.
I'd say, if you were to take that segment that we're agreeing on, that doesn't do the deep dive, but they watch all the cinema, I would say that a large majority, 75 plus, have watched at least Mandalorian.
So here's the thing. Would you consider me a Star Wars fan?
Yeah.
A big Star Wars fan.
I mean, big enough that you watched all the digital media, all the TV
but it took
shows.
it took me a year and a half before I watched the first season of Mandalorian. Because it was a streaming show and I didn't really care. I didn't really care.
How did you not care?
I just didn't care. I was like, it was like
the thing to watch over pandemic.
I'm like, it's a spin-off of the most overrated Star Wars character.
But it's like
it's a Boba Fett show, but it's not even about
everybody was literally
Boba Fett.
watching it. It was like, you couldn't
but
scroll through social media without seeing Grogu.
I know. And I saw all the merchandise and I saw whatever, but it took me a very long time to finally. I didn't watch it.
Well, then I would say you're a small portion of that.
I didn't watch it properly all the way through until we were prepping because I knew the third season was coming out and we had to review it. And I wanted to get caught up. So anyways, I think it will, listen, it's still going to do very, very well for them. I don't think it will be $1 billion Star Wars film. I put good money on the fact that it's not going to be $1 billion Star Wars
it's
film.
not going to be, I don't think it'll be $1 billion film just because in today's viewing market at the theater, it takes the stars aligning to get there.
Yeah. And they are hurting their numbers substantially by having Disney Plus streaming shows being a prerequisite for the next Star Wars theatrical experience. The other thing that pisses me off about this, like we've talked a lot about the business, right? I just don't want this. Right. Really? And I've been very public about that. Like I'm just so over The Mandalorian. I just don't give a shit. It was fun for a season and a half, maybe 2 seasons. It was fun. It was fun. But I think, if you're trying to rebuild your fandom, if you're trying to tap into what is Star Wars, if you want to give me, a huge Star Wars fan, a movie that I'm going to be excited about, don't give me a film that is set in the Star Wars universe. Give me a Star Wars film. And a Star Wars film, what George Lucas tapped into in the 70s, what made Star Wars so special was the Force, Jedis, and that war between the light side and the dark side of the Force.
Yeah.
That is what made it special, because even to the people who love Mandalorian, I was thinking about this morning. Had George Lucas in the 1970s, 77, had he released Star Wars, and what he had released instead of being Star Wars A New Hope had been The Mandalorian. Star Wars, if people were even familiar with what Star Wars was today, it would not be as big as it is now.
Yeah, I would agree with you, but I would have to add a few more points to what made, because those things made Star Wars successful, but also the space cowboy kind of stuff that Mandalorian represents is also part of that puzzle.
With Han Solo.
Han Solo, space battles, cool spaceships that nobody's ever seen before.
Sure.
Massive space station. Things that normal people can identify with a little bit more than a space wizard.
Yeah.
Right?
But the only thing that set it apart was the space wizard.
Of high fantasy, which for those unfamiliar with the term is like knights and magic and wizards and stuff. The merger of high fantasy, Western, and sci-fi space opera. The merger of those 3 things together is what makes Star Wars Star Wars. You remove one of those things and it feels a little less Star Wars. So like what you're saying about Mandalorian removes the high fantasy aspect of Star Wars. And it still works and it still feels like Star Wars because we've been on the journey of Star Wars for so many years just it looking like Star Wars can make it feel like Star Wars, but there's still something missing until the end of season 2 when Luke Skywalker shows up with a lightsaber.
Yeah, and we see Ahsoka, and we see
Ahsoka,
and it just, I don't know. So I just don't like.
So I agree with you, but there is a piece of the puzzle, and the piece of the puzzle is what Mandalorian brings. But Mandalorian bringing 2/3 of the puzzle is still not the whole pie, right? You're still missing something to the magic of Star Wars.
Yeah, I agree
with you.
I think that doing a Mandalorian and Grogu film is simply them. They're playing it safe.
Yeah, it's a safe bet. It's good business. It's also like it's been 5 years since we've seen a Star Wars on the silver screen, which probably isn't a bad thing considering how we've been inundated with Marvel films, and that just feels like too much.
But gap also there, it's time it's time.
Yes, I would say yes and no. I would say if they didn't do all these bogus announcements over the last 5 years, and they waited 5-6 years and we got one announcement that actually fulfilled its promise, then you would have more hype than you do now. Right? That's another problem that we haven't talked about. Well, we've touched on it, right? Like episode 1 was massive because we hadn't seen Star Wars in almost 2 decades. Episode 7 was hyped because we hadn't seen Star Wars in almost a decade.
Yeah, but
right?
then also, but not only
in that time, all we got was kind of deep dive media that unless you're like that third tier of fandom that you had talked about that loves reading the comics and diving deep into cartoons and all that stuff, you weren't getting Star Wars.
Right.
So that drought makes you thirsty and hungry for it even more.
But I think
when you're tugging people along saying, hey, we're going to do this, not, hey, we're going to do this, not, you get fed up and you lose interest and you don't care when they do finally announce something that's actually going to happen.
Yeah. The other important piece of that equation was that it had been decades or close to a decade. But then when they did give us Star Wars, it was episode 1, episode 7, the continuation of
the saga.
The saga, not it's been 7-8 years.
Yeah,
and here's a film about a renegade living in the outskirts.
Yeah, love them or hate them, good or bad, for good or bad. It was, the hype was real. The hype was there. People found something to enjoy about them one way or another. Yeah. Because it's Star Wars, and it had been a long time since they got to enjoy something new on the silver screen from them.
Yeah. So I'm not excited. I mean, it's Star Wars, so I'll go see it in the theater, but it is, compared to what I thought our next Star Wars film was going to be, for me personally, this is a disappointment. And I can hear that and understand exactly understand how you'd sit there. I would say that I'm hopeful. I wouldn't say I'm excited, but I'm hopeful and looking forward to it. But yeah, I'm more excited than I am about a Rey story. Right.
That's because they do the thing that I said that they should do for a Rey story. Rey needs to go bad and have some actual struggle.
Yeah.
For it to be interesting and hook me. But I am more interested in this, and I'm more interested in the stories that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have to tell.
Yeah. Anyways, that is the news.
That's it, as all.
That's it. Thank you so much for watching, listening, whatever. I don't know. It's not really a watching option. Make sure you check out our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all listed below. Check out our Patreon page. Ooh. Patreon. You can support the show for as little as $1 a month, and it keeps the show up and running. And merch.
We have t-shirts.
We have new products.
There's a new shirt.
There's a kid shirt with the VHS
kids
on it.
Football tee. That's pretty cool.
There's that, and there is also a new. You can get
sticker?
that same thing as a sticker or as a fridge magnet.
Ooh, I like this. I like this. Is this the new 2024 logo?
No, that's just a logo that we've had for a while. Yeah.
Is this backpack new? I don't remember seeing
the
this
backpack's
It's got
new.
an old logo on it.
Yeah, backpack's new, and there's a new
there's a Santa hat. It's
there's
a little late,
Santa hat,
but there's a Santa hat.
and there is a Movie Man
there's two
podcast
pages now.
Nameplate white patch beanie towards the right before the Santa hat.
I see that.
It's a pretty sick hat.
That's pretty cool.
Pretty sick hat.
I wonder if we could get those patches just by themselves. That'd be cool.
Oh, probably. Yeah, I could get those.
Add those to the store.
Yeah. Stick that on a denim jacket or something.
Backpack.
Denim vest. Yeah. So check it out. Some of those things, I can tell you right now, the kids VHS football tee is limited time.
Ooh,
limited time.
Exclusive.
You have until the end of March to get that before that disappears off the store. So pick that up. It's reasonably priced, man. It's reasonably priced for merch.
Yeah, $30.
Yeah. And if you're not a kid or you don't have a kid to stick it on, get the sticker. $2.79. $2.79. You can get a Movie Men sticker. Stick it on your computer. It's available in white matte, white glossy, or transparent glossy.
Ooh, options.
Options. Ooh, don't mess around, man.
We give you options here.
Yeah. And until next week, when we talk about more news, probably how Star Wars has screwed up again. Gosh.
One of these days they'll get it right and we'll all be happy and live under the sun together.
For the longest time, it was, God, I never thought we'd get Star Wars again. And now it's like, we probably shouldn't have. We probably should have just been like, okay, it's done. Yep. Anakin turned into Vader and it's done. There you go.